Welcome back. It's the third Saturday of the month, and we're here to make some rankings. I'm your host, Boston, and joining me as always is Moop here. Oh, my Moop here.
Mao, papa.
That's right. And Musum.
Hi.
Hello.
We are here to rank because I have a problem, and I have convinced everybody in my life to join me in this problem. I like ranking stuff. I'm spreading the brainworms around. So like we've done for the last couple of years, we're going to rank all of the games we played this year. 11 games again this year.
Oh boy.
And we're going to put them in a list. And there's a lot of stuff on here that we felt pretty differently about. So today is going to be a pretty interesting one. But if you've listened to our other show, we really like it. Largely the same type of ranking there. If you haven't, number one, how dare you? I kid. Please go listen to We Really Like It. But we're going to just essentially rank them in chronological order from January to November. And we'll figure out where each game lives in this giant list.
That's how I know that the holiday season is upon us, because we are recording our first ranking episode of the year. That's
right. We've smashed the champagne against the hull, and we're ranking all this stuff. All right. So if you're watching the video version over here on the right hand side, we're much tinier than usual. Over here on the right hand side, we'll have the entire list. If you're listening to this audio version, we'll keep going over it as we go through. So hopefully we'll be able to let you know where everything sort of rests in this list. Starting off with XO1, that's the first one we played this year. So of course, goes here on the list at the start. Next one here, Baba Is You. Is Baba Is You better than XO1?
Yes.
No. Here we go, folks.
I really disliked XO1.
I also really disliked XO1.
I know, it's fine. Stick Baba Is You above it. It's fine.
Yeah. Baba Is You, the impossibly to complete, wonderfully adorable, maddeningly difficult puzzle game that I really liked, and I will, just like Darkest Dungeon, never finish it. And I'm okay with that. I should start Darkest Dungeon over again, though. I can do it. I can beat it.
No, you shouldn't.
Yeah, I'll be all right. I don't have anything else to do, right? It's just December. All right, is Sable better than XO1?
Yes.
Yes.
Hold on, let me remember what Sable was.
Sable is the Mobius desert bike adventure game, no combat with the masks and the mail.
No.
The Dune game?
Yeah, the Dune game.
No. Don't even try and get me on board with this madness of like saying, oh, it's like Dune. Go away. Fine, whatever. I know I loved XO1 and I'm the one who does. Whatever.
Yeah. Is Sable better than Baba Is You?
I liked it better than Bob Is You, but I could see me being the low man here.
I don't know how to put these two against each other. I liked Sable a lot, but it's a more thin experience than Baba Is You. These couldn't be more different games, which is very, at least over on Re-Roguelike, they're all roguelikes like 90% of the time.
Except for the Darkest Dungeon question.
That's right.
Well, and I feel like Sable and Baba Is You is like, Boston, you're a huge puzzle person. Like that is an aspect you want out of your games. I want to explore stuff, so that's Sable.
That's true. That's true. There's a little bit of everything here.
Honestly, they're both. I personally probably have more fun with Sable, and I think Sable, like they're both. The ironic thing is they both have relatively simple graphic styles too.
That's true. That's true. I'm okay with putting Sable above Baba Is You if you guys feel strongly about it.
Yeah, I prefer Sable over Baba, definitely. I prefer XO over both, but we won't go there.
Yeah, sorry, XO1. All right, here's a big one. Is Tunic better than XO1?
Do we want to just skip this conversation right now and just stick it straight at the top?
I mean, this is one of my favorite games of this year for sure, so I'm okay with having the little fox at the top of the hill.
I just realized what the final argument this list is going to be. Okay.
You see it coming a mile away.
There's a couple in here that is going to be a big argument, I think.
Yep.
There are a couple, but I think Tunic versus the one we're about to talk about next is going to be the hill I die on.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it sounds like Tunic is heading to the top of our list based on how this goes.
Unquestionably, it is the second best game we've played this year.
Wow. Ooh, okay. I like it. Your second best game the Game Club has played, or you personally? Or both?
The second best game the Game Club has played.
Okay.
Arguably, me as a whole as well.
Okay. I like it. I like a definitive statement. That's what these rankings are good for. Tunic is the number 2 game of the year. All right, Life is Strange True Colors. Let's get in the list. It sounds like you guys both want this at number 1.
Yes.
I do.
It's arguably the best Life is Strange since the first game. I think it's made fantastically. The story is told inventively in every different way throughout every chapter. Like, the whole RPG chapter is...
it's so good.
The LARPing chapter is incredible. Like, as a whole, don't get me wrong, it's Life is Strange, so it gets dark in places.
Yeah.
But this True Colors was not anywhere near as horrifically depressing as 2.
Oh my god. I was talking to my wife about 2 the other day, and I was like, please, I don't even want to talk about it. It's just so sad. It's so much.
It gives you almost, yeah.
They
forgot to put anything that would make you happy in that game.
Yeah. And I do have to say, I agree with you. I think Life is Strange True Colors should be at the top. My concern about True Colors when it was announced is like, oh, she can see people's feelings. Great. Okay, this is going to be like the cheesiest thing ever. And somehow at every turn they managed to subvert that, and they turned it.
Was so
good.
The
execution was perfect, and I can't give them enough credit for making what I think is my favorite Life is Strange game, and I think it edges out the original Life is Strange for me, which is crazy. It's not made by the same team, and they somehow made a game better than the game that kind of revitalized the modern point-and-click adventure game. So, Life is Strange True Colors is incredible throughout, and it's such a good game.
I think one of the things we should acknowledge here as well is like, Life is Strange 1 is one of the best of those games ever. I would argue maybe Walking Dead Season 1 might be up here too, if we were having that
I would say it's up there too, yeah.
But Life is Strange Season 1 is very much a teen drama story, whereas this feels like True Colors feels like they finally, it's a young adult story, but it's still an adult story.
Yeah. It's like straddling that line where your life is kind of at a crossroads.
Yeah. It's so well told. I feel like we breezed past it, so I do need to give it some flowers. Like, Tunic is incredible.
Oh, yeah. Tunic is in the running for my game of the year and game of the generation. So like, I love Tunic a lot because I like Fez and I like The Witness, and this is Tiny Fox, Dark Souls, Zelda, Tunic Witness. Like, it takes all this stuff I love and kind of puts it in a pot, and maybe you got a stew going. But like, it's so, even if you don't get all of the secrets, even if you don't dive really into it, it's a good game to play.
Like, it looks great. It sounds great. The booklet mechanic is really well done.
Oh, I have in my notes for Game of the Year this year that the instruction manual in Tunic is the perfect pacing mechanic. is you are always getting a new page exactly when you're supposed to, unless you've played the game before and then you're just breaking it apart. Like you get a new page exactly when you're supposed to, and it leads you to the very next thing you're supposed to do, and like it keeps unlocking parts of your brain where it's like, oh wow, okay, now I can do this. Wow, okay, maybe I should try this. Wow. So I love Tunic, and the fox is
The
cute.
best example of that for me is the kneeling. Like that kills me. Like,
It's so good. It's so good. Oh man, that instruction manual is great.
I hold A and I kneel. What?
Yeah, and it does things. Oh my gosh. Oh, it does. Oh wow. Yeah. I love you, Tunic.
Life is Strange. Tunic, thoughts?
I mean, I agree on everything. Life is Strange. I never went back to Tunic. I needed to. But I mean, it's obviously a revolutionary game. Life is Strange True Colors is my favorite of the series. Like I went back and started playing through the remastered one, and like the amount of improvements from like not even just graphically and controller wise, but in terms of character presentation and writing and presenting more fully formed characters, and presenting a lot of nuances to like as horrible a person as well, I guess it's okay, anyone listening to this has hopefully already played it, right?
Spoiler alert for the first Life is Strange.
We'll just say like Jed could have been a one-note character and wasn't, and I love that his forgiveness is entirely up to you, the player, and I think you are fully justified either direction you go with it. And I think even if you choose to forgive him, he is still not off the hook, which I think is very important. But that is an amazing game. It has a cover of Radiohead's Creep that will make you cry.
It's very good.
It has, the I just forgot the word, the LARP episode, like, I mean, that's level of the year, like, in my opinion. Like, that is highly imaginative, and they had, like, you could tell the design team was just having a blast making that.
The same guy as all of the monsters. It's just
it's so good.
Chef's kiss, amazing.
But just like the game itself, I feel like they could have made that really insulting, like really looking their nose down at RPGs or LARPs or kind of like really being mean about it, but they had a lot of fun with it, and they kind of I think they took it in the right direction of kind of this like this fondness for not only like playing as a kid and making this kid's day, but also like, yeah, it's kind of fun to like just play around for a while. It was really well done.
And it's like we've talked before on the mainline show about a change of perspective in a video game can change a video game to be something incredible.
Yeah.
If you have not played BioShock 2, and play BioShock 2. If only for the perspective shift in that.
But what an incredible
scene. Character being a big daddy. It's one of my favorite scenes in video game history, and I will still not spoil it because you deserve to experience that for yourself.
Yep, that game is so good.
This does like that level of Life is Strange does that, and at the same time it does the perspective shift, but it uses the emotion feeling mechanics to explain why the perspective has suddenly changed. And everybody is so different. Like it makes perfect sense, and it's so well done.
Yep, that's great. All right. Go ahead.
I just said love that game.
Yeah, it's very good. All right, next game is Umurangi Generation. Where are we going to put this in our list? I think a game that really clicked with Moon and I, but didn't really click with you, Musum.
Yeah, I think
like I feel bad. Like I feel like I literally played the game wrong.
No, you're okay.
But the funny thing is, I think this year has been a good year for Game Club because it feels like there is a lot of this hot, middle, cold kind of thing. Like, this is a Boston Heart, me middle, and Musum cold game.
Yep.
Our last game is going to be a Boston Heart, Musum middle, me cold game.
That's right. Yeah. We got the full spectrum of kind of feelings about it. Yeah, I think the Umurangi generation is such a cool thing that tells a really cool story, but maybe a little bit too between the lines for maybe a story that's that neat. I really wish it kind of performed better. I feel like, especially on consoles, it was struggling a lot. I think that made the kind of minute-to-minute gameplay, especially for as much as platforming is in that game, I think that made it kind of a frustrating experience. But it's another cool singular game we've played on Game Club. You know, there isn't another game like this.
Yeah, I wish they had used Unreal to make it. Like, a lot of my issues, I think, with that game was it felt like playing Gary's mod, like in terms of physics,
right?
And that really, I don't know. I need the controls to immerse me a little bit more than it did, I think.
Yeah.
But I have no idea where to put this on the list. Because the bottom two are two games that I don't like. I mean, not Baba as you, but like, I didn't like X01. I didn't like Umurangi Generations. So I guess it's up to you guys.
I think personally, I would put it above Baba as you and under Sable.
It's literally exactly where I was thinking, to be honest.
Look at this. I love it.
Because I think that satisfies it's unique enough to go up, I think. But also at the same time, it is not as loaded enough from us as a group to make it too much further than that.
Right. Next game here is Far Changing Tides, a game I forgot we played, which is bad. I'm sorry.
It's not bad because it is a perfectly forgettable, perfectly fine, middle of the road, middle of the ocean game.
Hey-o. It's a cool thing. Like, it's a cool idea that I think kind of overstayed its welcome.
Yeah,
after about 6 hours. Yes.
I don't know that.
Yeah. Like, I liked the game. Like, I think, Far Changing Tides, I like that. Then I think, like, wasn't there something I didn't like? Oh, right, it kept going. Like,
there was more of it.
Break the boat.
It should have been like
get it up or down.
Yeah.
Like, I like the idea of the boat traversal, and I feel like they're on a cool idea with managing some of that stuff. I think they just, I don't know, need to zoom out the camera, or maybe have you do a little bit less, or maybe put the things closer together, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like they are missing an ingredient here to tie everything together.
Yeah.
Psst. The missing ingredient is co-op.
Yeah, like, and that's what I was just thinking, because, like, I really like the idea of, like, managing and maneuvering this boat and upgrading and kind of managing all the dials and the knobs and the systems. But having to do all of it by yourself and having the game last a while. Like, I think there was too much to fiddle with for a story that never paid off that much, unless, I guess, you played the first one and then that made a little bit more sense. I don't know about this one. I'm okay with leaving it at the bottom of the list, personally.
You know what? This game could have learned something from Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time. Now that you said co-op.
100%.
Yeah. It's literally the inverse problems, where Lovers is terrible if you're playing it by yourself because there's too much.
Right.
Whereas this one is terrible when you're playing it by yourself because there's just too much.
Yeah.
Like, Lovers, you need 4. This, one more person, and it's perfectly balanced.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like it never really got to where it needed to with its story. Like, I like the adventure discovery aspect, but it kind of never did anything with it.
Yeah. About the most character progression in that game is you can grow a plant.
Yeah. It was a pretty cool looking plant, though. Save that plant from the beginning. Anyone want to fight for a spot other than the bottom?
No, don't you dare try and put this above XO1.
I'm not even touching my mouse right now. I hated XO1, but I liked that more than XO1 was, I feel like, a more cohesive experience, and it was trying to tell a story. I don't think it was successful, and that's fine, because a lot of XO1 was about the kind of momentum and the feeling and the controls when you get the thing moving. I think that's the kind of it's kind of like a good skateboarding game. Like once that clicks, you're like, oh yeah, all right, and like now I've got the flow down. This is happening.
Yeah. It's very much a flow state game.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I like Far Changing Tides better than XO1. I'm not gonna fight for it. I don't care. It can be at the bottom of the list.
Yeah. Next up is a game I didn't finish. Sorry. Weird West. How'd you guys feel about Weird West?
Speaking of games that went on a bit too long.
Yeah, a game that turned out to be way more massive than it seemed.
Like, what did I do? Spend 30 hours on the first character, never play the other 3 or 4? Yeah.
Yeah, hey, guess what? There's like 2 more characters. It's like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
I like the idea of it. And you do get to do some really cool, like they have kind of almost a Deus Ex mentality to a lot of the situations where it's like, are you going to use your jumping skills to get on the roof? Are you going to talk your way in through the front door? Or are you just going to blast your way in, you know? And I appreciated that.
Muscles, move the vending machine, sneak in through the pipes.
Yeah, they kind of tried their best to make like a 2D immersive sim. It seemed like it largely was kind of okay.
But also, like, it follows the theme of, I guess, that we've seen in a couple of these games, and that is way too long. This needs to be like a 20-hour game tops. Yeah. They don't need the Skyrim infinite side quest system, whatever that. It may not be infinite. They may have handcrafted every single one of those side quests. They're
400 side quests.
Pull your scope back.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a messenger. He has a message for you. You need to go and see this person.
No, send him away. I'm all full.
How did you find me, messenger? I'm in the middle of the wilderness.
Right.
I don't. Where would this go on the freaking list? My vote would be for Under Baba's You.
Okay. What do you think, Moon?
You first.
I didn't even play it. Like I had COVID, so which.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
Under Baba's You is fine. Muson's right. It's a fine game. My problem with this game is it's one of those games where it's one of those things I've had, particularly over the past like 2 or 3 years, where it's like I will get into a game, and the second I find out it's like a 50, 60, 80-hour game, I am out. Yeah. It's like all of my brain power for playing that game goes out the window because it's like, guys, I could be playing the Witcher series here. I'm not doing that because it's 80 hours long.
Right.
100, 200, 3 hours long. Says the guy who finished Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I'm aware I'm a weird pervert. You're fine. But it's one of those things where it's like I struggle these days with knowing this is my gaming quote-unquote career for the next 80 to 200 hours is playing this thing.
Right.
And it killed my momentum with it. Yeah. I was like, yeah, this is cool. This is great. Hold on, what? Like,
Chrono Trigger is a great game because it's 20 hours. You get in, you get out, and you're done.
Yeah.
Dude,
more games
7 and 8, you can get away with them in like 40 and 50 hours, and that used to be considered long.
Yep. Yeah. All right, next game here, Escape Academy. Boy, Escape Academy turned out to be way better than we were expecting. Oh, man.
It's a really good game.
Yeah, that's a puzzle game. Yeah, sure.
This goes number 3 on our list.
I can agree with that.
I will agree with that. Right there under Tunic and right before Sable.
It's so good.
It's way better than it has any right to be.
Way better than I was expecting. I was judging that. Like when I saw the trailer for it, I was like, okay, that's a cool concept. But I was still judging McJudgerface about the whole thing. Like I was just like,
oh, it's an escape room game. Oh, here we go. All right.
That good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need like 6 friends to play it. And I'm gonna need to do X, Y, and Z.
Oh, I'm in the Mayan temple. Oh no. Yep. That sort of. Oh, the boulder is rolling down. Yeah.
The whole time I was just like judging the hell out of it, and then we sit down and we play it, and I think I beat it in 3 days.
Yeah,
like,
I motored
oh
through it too.
no.
Yep.
Because I played it co-op as well, which was so much fun. Like, if listeners, if you haven't played Escape Academy,
yeah,
try and play it co-op
mm-hmm.
because it is such a fun game, especially the fact that it does the screen sharing thing, which we talked about on the episode. It's like, oh, I need to see what you're looking at. I'm just going to look at your screen. Like,
well, and there's DLC for it out now, Escape from Anti-Escape Island, which I haven't yet checked out. It came out early November, I believe. And I just haven't had time to check it out, but I would like more of that game, please.
Yep.
Yeah. I agree.
Looks great.
I don't really have more to add other than Escape Academy was really good, and I think more people should play it. And it's on Game Pass at time of recording, so go play it.
I think the Game Award and people have been announced for the Game Awards, the nominees. Yeah. Pretty sure this didn't get a look in.
I don't think it got nominated for anything, which is a real bummer.
Which, as a best indie and a best debut indie, it should have its feet in the door somewhere.
Yep.
Because
I mean, it's one of the most polished games of the year. Like,
mm-hmm.
Like, and the fact that it's a first-time developer as well. I mean, yeah, they did other things, but this is a first-time, like, straight-up video game developer. Like, it is unbelievable that this thing hasn't had more love around. Like,
searching on the Game Awards nominees, I just typed in Escape, and it says no result exists. It's a bummer. That's especially
Anti-Escape.
Is there a puzzle category? It should be in Best Indie at the very least, but it didn't get
Dude, they specifically have a Best Debut Indie category.
Right. That should be... It's a bummer.
You know, here's the secret to enjoying award shows. Mm-hmm. Don't expect anything you like or love to be nominated or win, and just go watch it out of a cultural curiosity.
Right.
And you can enjoy it.
Hey, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 got nominated for Best Game, so that's wild enough that I'll respect it.
I didn't
and Best RPG.
And Best RPG. Yeah, it's wild.
Best RPG I could definitely see. I don't know if it's the best game of the year, but it's a fantastic game. Anyway.
All right, so Escape Academy is number 3. That game's great. You should go play it. Next up, The Room 2012. A tiny little mobile thing we checked out. I'm trying to figure out where to put this on the list because I liked it and it's a cool experience, but I don't know where it sits with the rest of these games.
I got a suggestion, but I don't know how many people are going to agree with me.
Okay.
I think it sits right above Baba.
Okay.
I would actually put it under Escape Academy. I think you guys like Umurangi Generations a bit more than I do. I think The Room is better than Sable, so maybe I screwed up the list by fighting for that. But The Room is just so cool and immersive and inventive, and it's like it's simultaneously the box gets smaller and larger all at the same time and just kind of encompasses you and uses, touch controls that, granted, I never play touch control games, so maybe I'm ignorant and maybe touch control game design has exponentially increased since then, but it hasn't. It seems super inventive and neat in that aspect.
Well, and I think, based on some of the other stuff we've been talking about here, it didn't overstay its welcome. I think that's like a handful of hours that you don't have to play all at once. And sort of by the time that I was saying, like, this was cool, it ended. And I was like, all right, yeah, cool. I could play more of that, but I'm kind of glad it didn't stick around.
I mean, my only...
go on. Like Escape Academy.
Yeah.
Fantastic hint system.
Yes.
Like, super cool hint system
in both
of those games. Where it's like, yeah, you can, if you futz around for a little bit, it will then just give you the option for the next hint.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong, the first hint was always dog, so always just hit that as soon as you see it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Like the key that you got goes in a hole.
Yeah. Oh, there's paint here. I wonder what it means. I was like, that's not a hint. What are you doing?
Maybe you could do something with that thing in your inventory.
That's
Maybe
right.
I could, game.
Maybe with what though? I think I might split the difference and maybe put it between Sable and Umurangi generation.
I'm fine with that.
How's that sound?
I can live with that. Sable is a really cool. What's the word you like to use? Bright sky or the phrase,
blue sky.
Blue sky. Like Sable to me is kind of a blue sky
game. Is a blue sky game? How dark is your sky, dude?
We're post-apocalyptic. The nuclear winter is over.
You're a happy kid looking for their profession and going around, and all the adults are happy to see you and encourage you on your journey and give you stuff, and there's no combat. And
now solve this murder. All right. Our last game, Immortality, the one that I think had the largest swing of opinions here between the three of us.
Hey, also go back and rewatch all the Game Club games, and if you press back in a certain order, you'll start seeing the subversive game.
That's right. If you reverse it at 0.5% speed, yeah.
I mean, I know where I want it, and Moon's going to push me down.
Well, just throw it out there. Let's start. There are no bad ideas here in Game Club. Just bad games.
I would like it under Tunic.
Oh, that's higher than I would put it. I would put it under The Room. I really, really, really loved it, but as we talked about in last episode, I think there are too many like control and unlocking issues and progression stuff that I think clicked with me, but I think it makes it. You look at something like Tunic and Life is Strange, and like that's a very cohesive, well put together, complete package. And I think Immortality for me succeeded despite a lot of its kind of core foundational issues with it.
That's a very good point. It is a very faulty game in many ways like that.
Yeah.
You're saying Under the Room? Yeah, because The Room is a mechanically really solid experience.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Sable, it doesn't have a lot of mechanics to balance, but
yeah.
Anyway.
It doesn't, but Sable is also too long, one might argue.
Or like too short if you realize how to complete the game early.
Instantly, yes.
Yeah, I didn't know how to.
I'm an achievement hunter. It's too long.
Yeah.
I am perfectly fine if you guys are feeling this. I am perfectly fine sticking this directly below Escape Academy. It gets the love it deserves, but I think as a whole final product, I think the other three are better.
I will not disagree with you on those. I'm kind of surprised you guys are putting it over Sable in The Room, but I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay with that because I really love it.
It's also super unique, dude. Like nothing else on this list is like this game.
I was gonna say, like,
can be.
We have so many games here that are unique, like XO1, Baba's You, Umurangi Generation, The Room, Stable, Escape Academy. Like all of these games are. None of these games are like, oh, it's another Umurangi Generation, right, guys? We played a million of these. It's like, no, that's never played a game like this before.
It's very true. Like I feel like Immortality in particular tries, and obviously doesn't always hit it.
Hardest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it flew too close to the sun sometimes, maybe, especially from like a controls perspective. But at least it tried. Like at least it tried to do like a different FM. Plus, it's an FMV game. We don't get enough of those. It's them and Wales Interactive, and like that's really it. And Wales Interactive makes incredible stuff.
Like in all honesty, like if like. As I've said, I think the top three are the best three wholly cohesive packages.
Yes.
I think if we're going to be completely reductionist about it, like you could break Sable down and be like, it is an art experiment. where it is about the environment, the journey, the music, the sound.
Gameplay is like a second priority to that game.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas Immortality, I feel like, is not an art experiment. I made the joke at the start of the last episode. It's an experience.
Yes.
Whether you like it or not, it is an experience.
Yeah. I'm okay with
perfectly fine giving it the love it should probably deserve. It just didn't click with me, and slotting it right in that place.
I can agree with that being in the fourth slot. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good with that. I really thought you guys were going to battle for Tunic over Life is Strange on number 1.
No, I really love Tunic, and like it's in the running for my game of the year, but I think that's more of a personal thing, and I think when you look at all of these games as kind of a conglomeration of our personal loves and our personal interests, and just the package that Life is Strange is, especially as a Life is Strange game that for the first time was not released episodically. I think there were a ton of big risks with that game, and I think all of them paid off in a way that I think is undeniable.
And to be honest, I think also it probably hit us at a good time. It was an uplifting story when we needed an uplifting story.
Yep.
It wasn't last year's Life is Strange 2, which is an incredible.
The darkest
great game.
Yes, like the darkest story we've played on this show, I think, hands down.
Mm-hmm. And keep in mind that also involves uber capitalists and kaiju destroying the planet and everything else that's going on in this list.
Yeah,
Life is Strange 2 takes the cake.
Yeah.
But it's so well done, and like Tunic as a whole is a fantastic game. I agree on everything in that. I think Tunic is unique and special in so many different ways, but I also think that you can from an accessibility point of view, Tunic can potentially be problematic to people who are not quote-unquote gamers.
Mm-hmm.
Life is Strange is pretty simple. You walk around, you talk to people, you make decisions.
It's the modern point-and-click adventure game. Like it's very light lifting from a gameplay perspective, which is good.
There's no trimming weed and trying to carry on a conversation.
That's got that too. That part stopped me from getting the platinum. I'm like, I can't trim this weed again for whatever thing I'm supposed to pick up. I can't do it.
It's weird side note. So the game I developed, Sound On, like we were having some production meeting, and one of the guys, like I live in Oklahoma where weed is legal, and one of the guys was trying to run a dispensary. Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah, man, I cut up all my hands today just like trying to trim weed. I'm like, I did that in a video game today.
Wait a minute.
Anyway.
Oh, that's great.
All right. Life is Strange 2 Life is Strange True Colors is absolutely phenomenal game that I will probably replay most years. Like I love that game. I listen to it on Spotify all the time.
It's definitely jumped up there for me for one of those things where it's like I've been talking to people who are non-gamers recently about what games should I try and play if I decide I want to get into video games. And I would always say okay, Walking Dead Season 1 specifically.
Right.
If you want to see how far storytelling has come in video games, Walking Dead Season 1. If you like that, Life is Strange 1.
Yep.
I think I can probably just skip to both of them and jump straight to this one because it's more modern, it's more developed, it's more accessible, it's easier to control, it's easy to understand. There's a lot less QTE BS that's written inside of it.
Yep.
I think this is a very good non-gamer game, and it just happens to be told fantastically well and acted superbly to the point where it happens to be just a perfectly great game.
I think if you look at the last couple of years of our ranking, I think the number one game going here, 2019 was Super Hot. 2020 was Return of the Obra Dinn. Last year was Astronaut. Super Hot.
It's the most innovative first-person shooter I've ever played. Thank you.
That's right. And last year was Astroneer. I think Life is Strange True Colors kind of joins the list of of course that's number one. It's the obvious choice of that's our number one game, right? Yeah, of course. So makes sense.
Hey, if we're doing this in 2030, Do you guys want to do a rank the game club of the year of the decade?
There you go. Yeah, give us a couple more years, and
why?
That is
why
exactly.
Would you suggest that?
I know. Why would you suggest that to me? Because that's in my brain now.
I know. On air too. I got you.
That's
guys.
Right. That's right.
That is true. At least, Boston, when I have the temerity to suggest the Nightmare Project for Critical Misses, I text it to you and don't say it into a microphone.
I know. You don't get it on the record, yeah.
No one will remember this in 8 years. It'll be fine.
That's fine. I'm not going to remember it after this anyway. All right, let's talk about our list of this year then, from the bottom to the top. Starting at the bottom, Far Changing Tides, XO1, Weird West, Baba Is You, Umurangi Generation, The Room, Sable, Immortality, and our top 3, Escape Academy, Tunic, and our number 1, Life is Strange, True Colors. Congratulations to all the nominees. That's right. The crowd goes wild. Congratulations to all our nominees. Most of you games were great this year. If you weren't, you were at the bottom of the list. You were bad. Sorry. They can't all be winners, and that's the great part about Game Club.
Look at the bright side. Last year, our bottom 3 was Coteries of New York, Lake, and Bard's Tale.
I thought, when I was making this list, I thought Lake was on this year's list. That's like how much I dislike that game. It's like, oh god, we have to talk about Lake this year? No, we're safe. We're safe from Lake now.
The year before was Saturday Morning RPG.
Ugh.
And the year before that was Tokyo 42.
Hey, there are no bad opinions about games, just bad games. So if you're bad, you're at the bottom of the list. Sorry.
We'll have our Bizarro Game Club, and we'll do worst game club ranking of the year.
That's right. Okay.
This was a good year compared to some of the fire we've gotten in previous years. I think this is a pretty solid year all around.
Yep.
I think this is definitely, like you guys were saying earlier, like the most inventive and experimental games that we have played in one of these
and
years.
Like Moon said, what I appreciated about especially this year's bag of games is that we didn't agree on all of them, whether they were good or bad. We never really agreed on, like, all of us didn't come in and be like, this game is incredible, except for, probably our top 3. But even then we had some criticisms, but the rest of the list are like, this is a game for me and I love it, and you guys are like, and I think that's cool. Like, that's part of what I want this show to be, is just, let's have this grab bag of games, and sometimes they turn out really great, and we get a surprise like Escape Academy, and sometimes we're looking forward to them like Lake, and they just turn out to be bad, and that's okay. Like, it's a cool experience. I'm glad the show can continue to be.
I have to laugh because every time I look up, I just see Saturday Morning RPG, and I know how
it makes me so mad, so bad.
We played some pretty bad games. Like, go one year more back, you'll see Tokyo 42 there.
Tokyo 42. Oh gosh, wanted to love you, Tokyo 42, and you wouldn't let me.
We've also played games I never would have played otherwise, like Iconfell. Like, that was not on my radar. That is an amazing game.
Love Iconfell. Yeah.
Dude. Orwell's
an incredible game. Gosh, an all-timer. Man. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. Thank you for indulging us. And thank you to my co-host for indulging me specifically on my innate need to rank things. It is a sickness, and I'm working on it by podcasting more. And I appreciate everybody listening. Thank you for listening to this show, especially throughout the year. As we were just talking about, it's kind of it's sometimes a lot schedule-wise, playing 11 games that we are additionally playing alongside of other stuff. It can be a little bit challenging, so thank you to my co-hosts here for also sticking it out. And
thank you for the editing and the hosting and everything else, dude.
Oh, you're welcome.
It doesn't get thanked enough. Like, you edit all this crap. As someone who used to edit crap for this shit,
that's right.
For us, I know how bad it can get.
I appreciate it. And thank you, everyone, for listening. And we will see you in January for our very next game. And we'll see you for another year of Game Club. Bye.
End scene 42.